Welcome back, you beautiful souls, to the next installment to my Series 2 of my 2K special. What if now, what if Naofumi, the shield hero, gained a solo leveling system similar to Sun Jinwoo in solo leveling? This will be this will be Dark Paladin Risen Part 2. 0A was part one of this, and things are going to get a little bit more, how would you say, a little bit more rough in this one. The first part of this, I wanted to go over setting up the relationship a little bit, and I discussed this more in Discord with a couple of viewers that have in private messages, so it doesn't really spoil too much of this episode, but I wanted to go over that right now. So in this, Naofumi, even in canon, striked me as a genuinely nice guy that has been put in a crappy ass situation. Just because of how he treats Raphtalia compared to other people and the people that actually show him kindness, he's more compassionate towards. And the reason why I had him just grab the money and toss it to the guy was because Raphtalia was quite literally near death. Like, she was, if Naofumi didn't take her, she would have died very soon. She wouldn't have lasted the night. So Naofumi taking her and then nursing her like all night and all of the next day kind of forgot about the daily. That's why him and Raphtalia were pulled into the penalty zone. Simply because of the Shield Heroes party system combining with the solo leveling allows people only in his party to be transported with him to these gates or these penalty zones. Unlike the shield aspect, where if, say, you had a general of an army in your party, and then the shield heroes party gets transported, all the men that the general is in charge of would be transported as well, even though they themselves aren't in the shield heroes party. That being said, in the instance with the penalty zones, only the general would be transported, not his men, if that makes sense. And because Naofumi is a generally nice guy, but because he acts the way he does because of the crap that has happened to him in the series of Rising of the Shield Hero, he just saw someone that needed help, and he wasn't really thinking about it, and he does view her as a slave, but it's not in a bad way. And then after 3 hours of hell protecting this child, he has developed more of a he realizes his feelings towards this person a lot sooner than he does in canon, but the fact that she's still physically a child, and Naofumi doesn't seem like, even in canon, he has an issue with people being lollicots. And if my viewers don't know what that is, you can look it up yourself. I'm not going to explain it. And if you know anything about anime, then you should know what that means. So, that being said, the only natural way for those feelings to evolve at that point in the story would be that of an older brother or that of a father. Like, like a familiar love is developed there. So that being said, after that whole instant and Raptalia getting cleaned and them having spending the night in the inn and everything, and Raptalia waking up Naofumi, where our last episode ended. Naofumi was woken up by Raptalia kind of curling up into a ball next to his chest, kind of pushing him a little bit off the bedroll. And so Naofumi kind of taps her on the head a little bit, and she wakes up, and then she looks where she is, and she gets up and starts apologizing and saying, "I'm sorry, Master Naofumi, I'm sorry. And Naofumi, for the first time in a week or so, kind of cracks a genuine smile, albeit it's kind of crooked. It's like, "It's fine, but I told you needed to sleep on the bed or you're gonna get even more sick. I paid 30 silver for you. You're the death of me, kid." And so they go downstairs after washing their faces off and everything and gathering their things. Naofumi tossing all the camping gear, all the bedroll and their belongings back into his item storage. They get something to eat. Raptalia is quite taken aback how this person is treated her. Like, he's healed her, clothed her, fed her, and protected her against some weird monsters that she's never seen before. So after they start, Naofumi starts his daily training. And Raptalia is kind of asking him what he's doing, because he's doing the sit-ups and push-ups and everything. And he kind of looks around, and then he tells her that this is an order. You can't tell anyone what I'm about to tell you. If you do, kill yourself. And Raptalia kind of goes, kind of gulping a little bit. And Naofumi then explains the system explains that you remember the 3 hours that we were running from all those monsters. And then he goes in and explains the solo leveling system, what he's been able to garnish from the events of the past couple of days. And Raptalia has asks Naofumi if she can join him, because she's thinking, well, if Master Naofumi is constantly having to protect me in those things, then he's gonna get hurt again. Because an image of him getting hit because he kind of took a hit from a sand viper, kind of blocking it from hitting her, and some blood did happen. So, in her mind, she wants to get stronger. She wants to get more physically fit and stronger, so that way she can ease the burden of Naofumi. Basically having that declaration of kind of being his sword, but she wants to not be a hamper to him. So if they're ever in a situation like that before, she can take care of herself. So she joins Naofumi on the exercises. And she kind of fails and everything with the sit-ups, the push-ups, and everything. And then she gets a little bit tired after about 1,000 kilometers, which I believe is about... It's between 0.4 to 5 miles, Raphtalia is a little winded by this. So Naofumi kind of picks her up and puts her on his back and finishes the 10K run. And after the exercise, like they grab a quick bite to eat before they head out into the woods outside of town to do some hunting. And after about 3 days of exercising and leveling a bit, I'd say they've gained about 3 levels. Now Fumi realizes that their equipment is pretty worn out. And so, like in canon, they make a visit to the blacksmith shop. And events like in canon happen where Naofumi basically asks, is there a village, after getting like new equipment and stuff for the asses, with our current level of equipment, is there any villages that we can visit? Because he says that the monsters in the area are kind of weak now and they don't get much XP from them. So the blacksmith says that Loot Village would be the place that they could get to with their current equipment and everything. So, like in canon, the events of Loot Village happen, with the exception of when the dog fights. Naofumi doesn't have to command her to attack, which kind of surprises Naofumi because Raphtalia still has nightmares of the night that the day her parents died. And even through tears and like fear on her face after Naofumi gets bit by the dog, she attacks it and ends up killing it. And she comes running up to Naofumi, like with blood all over her face and everything, crying and saying, "Master Naofumi, you're hurt, you're hurt." So they pretty much end up mining quite a bit, because both Naofumi and Raphtalia are considerably stronger than their canon counterparts. Like, at this point, I would say they're double, they're level more than what they would be in canon, so it's like so they gained 3 levels during the 3 days, and I would say they gained a couple more levels on the way, so 5 plus 3. So they're about level 9. All together in the Shield universe. And Naofumi is noticing that he's getting a lot less XP than what Raphtalia is getting, and he attributes it to her attacking and killing mostly. So after collecting a bunch of ore and killing monsters that kind of come their way, Raphtalia just not even blinking an eye towards the end of it, they are able to gather much more materials and regents for other stuff than what they did in canon. So they make their way back to loot, and people are shocked because Naofumi is kind of dragging like the carcass of several monsters, and people are just looking at this when he just starts like cutting the damn things up and like skinning them outside the village. Because I would say some monsters had chased them as they were leaving, and like they were pretty tired and just wanted to like go wash off all the blood and stuff. So after a quick work, and like one of the villagers coming up and asking, is like, "So how did you guys..." And then Naofumi kind of drops like a crap ton of the ore on the ground, and they are amazed by this. And he's like, "What can I get for all this?" And the trader says, "Well, I can't give you much for it because we're poor, but for this much I can give you 10 silver." Which Naofumi being smarter than what he is in canon, just kind of looks at the man, and he's like, "You sure? Like, that's more than what that portion's worth?" And the man says, "Well, I heard rumors that you aren't particularly nice when it comes to traders." And this gets Naofumi thinking. He's like, He's like, how about this? Give me 15 silver and I will give you 15% of what I found. Because you did help me out with some information. Just consider it a bonus. And the man's looking over and he's like, but that's less than what 15 silver's worth, sir. And Naofumi pulls out another load. And then the man's jaw kind of drops. And he's like, yes. But I have one favor to ask. Any special gems that you guys can find now that mine is cleared out of monsters? So many monsters. I'm so tired. Master Naofumi, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine, Raptalia. And Naofumi's kind of playing it up, and everyone's like, what, you cleared out the mines? And Naofumi's like, yeah, what did you expect me to do? Like, I couldn't have gotten all this ore without killing a bunch of monsters. Now, there may be a few minor monsters, like some goblins or something, or like small evil demi-humans. But as far as these things, as he pulls like the carcass of one of those giant dogs out, and he's like, well, all these things are dead. As he proceeds to like lop it up into pieces, well, Raptalia lopping it up into pieces and him feeding it to his shield. The town is really amazed by this. A few of them are like, he truly is the demon of the shield. And some of them are like, wow, this dude is not someone you want to piss off. And I would say they were at level 9 at the start of this, and they are at the level before the first wave had hit. So Naofumi is at level 18, and Raptalia is at level 22. And so, after they get the room in Loot at night, and Raptalia is finished bathing and everything in the restroom, because I would say Naofumi kind of splurged a little bit and got a higher end room this time because he wanted to really get clean. Because for the past several days, he's been dirty with shit tons of blood. And today, like in last week, 2 days in a row, he had sand in every crevice. So he really wants a bath. And he doesn't want to go bathing in a river like they normally do. So he splurged and got a better room. And as Raptalia's finishing up and she comes out, she sees Naofumi staring out at the night sky. And she's like, Ani Naofumi. What? Raptalia? Ani? And Raptalia looks down and she's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to speak out of line. And Naofumi says, no, it's okay. What is it, Raptalia? Well, it's getting late. We have a big day tomorrow. We should get some sleep. Yeah, we should. So they get in their respective beds, and the next day, during breakfast, Raptalia kind of speaks up because she was a little concerned because she's never, in the past the past 2 weeks, or the past week and a half, she hasn't seen Naofumi like, behave like that, looking off into space. By the way, Ani Naofumi, what were you thinking of last night? Well, I think we are ready for an E-rank dungeon. Flashback to the cave. Raphtalia, like I said, Raphtalia and Naofumi are the same levels as before the wave has hit. So after a quick breakfast and everything and the morning workout, they go on the first dungeon that Sun Jin Woo had done. What seems like after hours of mowing through like these weird dog monsters and spiders here and there, they make it to what Naofumi knows as a boss room, because in the world that he comes from is like the world of solo leveling. Like, they have gates, they have like E rank, D rank, they have like F rank dungeons, which pretty much normal people can handle, but unless you're like top athlete or like extremely good in a specific skill, you're gonna freaking die. But if you're like an E rank awakened hero, then you can, it's pretty easy. So they go through and do this, and as they get to the room, and they see this giant thing, Naofumi kind of blocks an attack from the thing. Raphtalia goes up to like slice it, and like sparks fly. And Naofumi says, I guess I've got to guess this is the best time to test out that new skill that showed up. And Raphtalia kind of yells over. It's like, what skill? And Naofumi's like yells out, Titanic Shield Bash! And combines it with the shield prison, kind of breaking the scales on the giant snake's neck right behind the head. So right at that, Raphtalia comes in with a sword and lops its head off. A window pops up and it reveals like quest completed, dungeon complete. As a reward, he gets a dagger, which then he proceeds to drop, and Naofumi says, I guess this one's yours too, Raphtalia. And she picks it up, and Naofumi sees like special abilities on it. Paralyzing touch. And before the dungeon closes, Naofumi does feed the snake's body to his shield, and he gains a decent amount of XP from that. And he also picks up the snake's head and proceeds to put it in his item. He's like, a match from this can probably fetch a good penny. So, that being said, the dungeon ends. They make their way back to Melamark, the capital. And after a week of Naofumi doing exercises, and Naofumi in them doing like a bunch of E rank, and then like one D rank dungeon, which they had to Hearthstone out of that bit. Simply because Raphtalia was hurt. And Naofumi notices that her level kind of plateaued but he can see that her speed and everything is constantly increasing, simply because of the way that demi-humans develop, combined with the shield hero and the solo leveling and the monsters that they're facing. Raphtalia is becoming more and more skilled. She may not be gaining any levels anymore, but her strength and agility more than make up for the under-leveledness that she's at. So, after the D rank dungeon that they had to port out of the boss fight, Naofumi sees a quest pop up: gain upgrade at Hourglass. So they make it their way to the church, and they are denied access to the Hourglass. Naofumi then gets another pop up. They are denied. Because they are denied, it says quest failed, alternate method quest activated. Naofumi gets 2 items, another Hearthstone, and a key titled class upgrade. And he's thinking, he's like, So they spend a couple of more days, and they are eventually able to clear out the 3 D rank dungeons that Naofumi had. And he feels very comfortable that he is going to that he's able to do the class upgrade quest. So he activates it after like a morning workout, and this is where the difference between Naofumi's leveling system and Sunjin Wu's leveling system is going to take place. One moment, I have someone knocking at my door. Sorry about that. So Naofumi brings Raphtalia with her and hands her the Hearthstone. And he tells her, like, if you get 2 beat up, you need to port out, okay? So, after several hours of them combating all of the skeleton knights, the mages, and everything, they're getting tired. And just like in canon, Naofumi didn't finish all the exercises. He kind of left 20 push-ups out of it because he was feeling a little rambunctious, and he had been thinking, he's like, maybe. And they aren't able to fend it off, and then a quest notification pops up, and it's like, failure to complete daily quest, transporting to penalty zone. So while in the penalty zone, Naofumi realizes that his shop is back. So he spends a lot of the money that he had attained over the past week or so in buying a couple of health potions. He gives one to Raphtalia, and he drinks one himself. One of the Sand Vipers pops up, and immediately Raphtalia guts the damn thing. And Naofumi realizes real quickly that the monsters in the penalty zone are fairly weak actually now. And that he realizes what his level is. And he's like, whoa, I actually wasn't paying attention to that. So as Raphtalia is killing monsters left and right, because Naofumi is just kind of lazily walking and everything, and so is Raphtalia. They're kind of catching their breath, because for the past several hours they had been fighting hordes of zombies and everything. And Naofumi begins Raphtalia and Naofumi begin to talk, and Rentalia's like, so, do you think we're still gonna go back to that quest for your class upgrade or something, Master? And Naofumi kind of gives her a weird looking eye, and she's like, what? And it's like, what happened to Ani? And Raftalia's like, sorry, I just, after this morning, and Naofumi says, like, kind of puts his hand on her head while shield bashing another monster away, saying, you can call me anything. I'm not sure. But it's a good thing. We almost died back there. Naofumi says, like, Reptile says, yeah, but these health potions are gonna work wonders. And Naofumi says, yeah, but they're expensive as hell. So, after the 3 hours, quest, daily penalty zone quest completed, transporting back. And they transport back, and Naofumi has gained a couple of more levels, and during that time, he put a few more points into his intelligence, and also his strength and vitality. So after they are able to figure out that they need to kill the mages, the ones that are actually summoning these damn things, they easily make work of that. Then they make it to the boss room. In this big night with a pretty high level, one that more than doubles Raftalia's level. Immediately, Naofumi crushes the Hearthstone, pulls the Hearthstone out and jabs it into Raftalia's hands and kind of forces her to crush it. Raftalia is saying, "No, Master!" And Naofumi says, "Sorry, Raftalia, but you can't handle this thing. Gotta do this one on my own." As she disappears, Naofumi sees, he's able to deal with this thing, and its name is the Blood Knight Egress. Like in canon with solo leveling, he's eventually able to defeat Egress by his sheer brute force. And he gains 2 items. One is a skill stone that gives the hand skill, and I will look it up and put it in the description. And then he also gets his class upgrade, and it says Shadow Lord Dark Paladin. In new skill, convert dead foe to Shadow Mitten. Limit 15. And just like in solo leveling, it says that you get 3 attempts. So he sits there and he is a little taken aback by this, and he's like, crap, I guess. Wait, why isn't the dungeon? So Naofumi decides to test his skill out, and he's able to use the skill. He uses the skill once, a second time, and a third time on Egress. And on the third time, he does what Sun Jin Woo did, and basically says, "Your king is dead. Why not follow and protect me? Arise!" And Egress's body transforms into a shadow, and Egress kind of takes a knee at Naofumi's feet. And he's thinking, it's like, why? Why isn't it closing? And then he notices side quest active. Complete class upgrade. Gain 5 more shadow minions. So he walks out to where all the zombie knights, archers, and mages are at. He decides to raise two more knights, an archer, and one of the mages, so that he can have all of his bases covered. And then as he's walking to the exit of the dungeon, and he exits out, he just hears he hears crying, and then someone like grabbing onto him. And Naofumi's taken aback by this, and he just hears Raftalia saying, "Honey Naofumi, I thought you died. I thought you left me, like my." And Naofumi like brushes her head and says, "I would never leave you. I would never leave you, Raftalia. Remember what I promised you. I will be, as long as you're my lord, I will always be your shield. And look, I got something really nice for you." As he pulls the stone out, and he says, "Crush it and you gain a new skill." It's kind of pointless for me, considering I can't handle weapons, but with that dagger you got from the one dungeon combined with your sword and everything, if you ever lose them, you can kind of recall them, manipulate them in air, whatever. So she does, and she's able to use the skill gem. She crushes it, and she sees like somewhat of a weird thing happen. She sees a notification pop up that says extension of Shield Hero skill acquired. Telekinetic hand or grasp. Telekinetic grasp, I think, is what it's called. But again, I will put the edited typos in the description below. So Naofumi, like that night, is kind of experimenting out in the woods, and I would say they kind of camp out that night because Naofumi kind of wants to test out his new skills and everything with the summons, and he kind of doesn't want anyone in the city to see. He shows Raftalia that he summoned like the 2 knights, the archer, and like the mage. And he's kind of looking through the skills, and he notices that his int's kind of low compared to everything else. And he kind of figures out that's probably why it took so long to summon that one, is he's thinking, and then he's like, wait a minute. These are shadow minions. So after Raftalia's initial shock of it, she's like, wow, Honey Naofumi, that means we can level a lot more efficiently now, right? And Naofumi's like, yeah, that's great. That means you're in less danger. And this gets him to thinking even more. He's like, wait a minute, Icarus. I can... So after Raftalia goes to sleep, he summons Icarus. And he's like, Icarus, hide in her shadow. Protect her as though she was me. And Icarus nods in agreement, and he says, "Only show yourself to other people, she can help. But give me some time to talk to her. But just in case, I want you to be a watchful eye. And he tells Egress that also, for now, just kind of watch us while we sleep. But your main concern is to protect Raftalia. Make sure no one harms her. So, with that, my beautiful souls of viewers, I'm going to end this part here. I hope you enjoyed this one. The next part will actually be covering the wave. So that being said, like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you think about this part in the comment section below. I will put the description of my Discord my link to my Discord in the description. With that being said, I will see you, beautiful souls, in the next video.